OG Lee in the house once again, once again. Thank goodness and thank goodness. Hey, they just sentenced Harvey Weinstein to 23 years in prison. So, in effect, Harvey will, in all likelihood, die in prison. Now, for all of those people who, when they got Bill Cosby, was saying, oh, they're racist, why don't they get Harvey? They got Harvey. They got Harvey, and Harvey, again, in all likelihood, is going to die in prison. And that just makes me think, man, because outside of the case, there are so many people, I'm sure, that are saying, man, I remember Harvey gave me my first job. I remember Harvey did this for me. I mean, if it wasn't for Harvey, this wouldn't have happened in my life. If it wasn't for Harvey, this wouldn't have happened. Because if you a mover and a shaker, you've helped a lot of people. Now, granted, obviously they say he's hurt a lot of people, but I don't know, man. I have a problem with something happening, 20 years ago and coming up. I mean, there's so much that has came in between that time and that case. I don't know, man. And this society we live in, it is so. I mean, it's about favors. It's who you know, and you don't get in, for instance, a Harvey Weinstein production, for instance, without giving up some ass if you're a woman. I'm not saying that that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm saying that's the way it is, and so there are some women who I'm sure that gave Harvey some ass or let him do whatever to get their foot in the door, so to speak. And that's the way it is. But for a person, this is what I don't understand, man. They are showing emails, they're showing letters, they're showing all of this stuff where these females who have accused him were writing him letters, all of this stuff after supposedly all this stuff happened. With ending the letter, I love you, and thank you for this. I mean, letters that said we were cordial, and then all of a sudden now he raped you and he did all that. I mean, there's something wrong. You have to don't read the headlines on this stuff. Don't read the headlines. Look into the intricacies of this case, and what you find. I'm not saying Harvey is innocent, but what you find is, as you'll often hear President Trump saying, this was a witch hunt. In other words, right now we're dealing with Me Too, and women are basically saying, hey, it's our time. We're going to show you power. And you've got this whole movement out to get people, out to cancel people's shit. These convictions are trying to make men rethink. And the thing I'm saying is, women really don't have to worry about that, because the power from the man is being usurped. You see it. So within 10 years, the woman is going to run everything. The woman is going to run everything. If you look at it in terms of all of the different power structures, hospital, schools, everything, financial corporations, bank, women are running them, the CEOs, in the military, women becoming the colonels or whatever. We living in a different day, a different time. We got a different structure of life, because these are social dynamics. So you can't measure what the consequences are going to be. All you're looking at is, I am woman, hear me roar, and everybody wants to, kind of get to the top without really considering what's going on. This is what our men are becoming. Something is causing that. And you can act like, well, I don't know what it is, or you can act like you know and say, hey, it's these women overpowering, emasculating men, and this is what they're becoming. And again, if that's what you want for your society, fine. But I always say that the main thing to remember is how nature works. And in nature, you don't see, in general, the female running the male. Everything has a role. And if you try to take over roles that are not supposed to naturally be, you're going to have some ramifications. And this is one of them. The thing is, if you're a woman, carry yourself like a woman. And if you don't want to give up no booty, don't give up no booty. Be that professional and hold to that. But don't be that type of woman that comes in and decides, hey, I'll do what it takes. And then when something happens, you get sour grapes and determine, hey, I'm going to flip the script now. Because it's terrible to come behind years later and accuse someone of something. Do you know how much can be misconstrued in 20 years? How many facts change? This person here, obviously, if you look at, take for instance, Bruce Jenner, right? Do you realize how much can change in 20 years? People's attitudes, their outlooks, witnesses have passed on all of this stuff for someone to say, and again, I'm not justifying what Harvey did. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not defending Harvey. For someone to come up with something 20 years later and say, you know, you did this and it was this way, this was this. Come on now. Do you know how much it's changed? Again, the people who you're saying were a part of it, perhaps they no longer are here, some of them. And we did this, you were a different age, you had a different mindset. Come on, don't tell me 20 years later I raped you. When you used to be hanging out with me every day, you could see a chain of letters that's saying, hey, baby, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I love you. You've helped me so much, this and that. Now when they're saying, hey, we need some people to pile on to this motherfucker, you jump on the bandwagon. People got to live with that. People got to live with their souls, man. And again, I'm not saying that Harvey didn't do anything wrong to these women. All I know in general is what women had the choice of saying is, no, I'm not down with that. Because I firmly believe this. If a person has a private entity, to me, they should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. Now, I don't mean in terms of breaking any laws. A woman comes through the door and, okay, you know, you want to work for me. All right? Now, I hire you on, of course, I'm hiring you on the strength, supposedly anyway, on the merits, right? So I hire you on. I try you to see if you're going to give me some. You don't give me none, I say, hey, you're fired. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And as a matter of fact, I think that the person, if it happens to be a woman, because it could happen to a male nowadays, but if it happens to be a woman, I think the woman says, I don't want to be working for no mother like this anyway. I thought he hired me on the merits. And then go about your merry way and say, give me my compensation. You know what I'm saying? For me this time, and you're sorry mother, man, hire me like this and shit, wasting my time. I could have went somewhere else. But that is a reality. And I don't see where somebody should be able to say, oh, you know what, I want to have him convicted or something like that because he hired me and then he tried to, you know, screw me. He has every right now, not to physically just take, but to try you in a way like anybody would. Hey, let me see how far I can get. It's his private business. Now, again, I don't think that he should be able to physically rape you. I don't think that he should be able to do anything that is illegal. But it is not illegal for a man to ask a woman for a piece of ass. It's not illegal for a man to ask another man for a piece of ass. Right? So, again, that's his private place. But if you're going into, I don't care, Hollywood, Dollywood, I don't care if you're going over into North Carolina, into their new market. If you are wanting to be an actor, actress, if you want to be a basketball player, if you want to be this, that, to get to where you want to be, if somebody says that, hey, you got to give me a piece of ass, you're going to have to make a decision. And if the person is making you uncomfortable, you're going to have to quit that job. If it's his business. Now, if it belongs to the state or something like that, because at that point, for instance, if it's a state organization, he's a state employee. So how is he, as your boss, going to demand something from you so that you can move up and move around? That, to me, is a problem. But if it's my private thing, see, I should be able to make the decisions in terms of who I want to hire and why. And I shouldn't even have to give anybody an explanation because I own the shit. I should be able to run it like I want to run it. Again, if you don't agree with the shit that's going on in here, just don't work here. The bottom line is, Harvey got 23 years. And as people are going to say, rightfully so, take it out of the context of him being a Hollywood mogul at one point, as it were. Just somebody coming up after 20 years and saying, hey, Michael raped me. What? Not defending Harvey, but something tain't right. Something tain't right. Yeah, you remember when we used to hang out, you know what I'm saying, when we used to work at such and such and such and such and such. Man, I do remember us having sex, but I never remember you saying no or whatever. Everything we did was consensual. Now, the fact that, I happen to be the boss, and we did this on the strength of me being your boss, and you probably thinking, damn, if I screw the boss, shit, who knows? I'm in good with the boss at that point. I might shoot to the top. But you made the decision. Now 20 years later, don't say he used his power to rape you. That's just like when I look at Clinton, he lied to Congress over getting a blowjob. So here's an intern in Monica Lewinsky. She sucked the president's prick. So Do I say that the president used his power to make her give him a blowjob? No. No. I contend that here's a young lady who wanted to get in, wanted to be powerful. She's close to the president. Man, imagine, and look at how much she's worth now. So think about that. Imagine, and she never knew all of this was going to happen necessarily, although she might have, because what she do? She never cleaned the dress that had his sperm on it. Nasty. But here she is, she says, if I give him a blowjob, I will be hell of a close to the president, right? Think about it if you're a real man. You are the male intern. You end up screwing the president who is a female. What you gonna go back and tell your boys? Yo, I'm the president, man. Is that not a notch on your belt? Yo, I ate the president out in the White House. She's in the chair, spread eagle. I ate the president. Not that I would want to claim some shit like eating the president. Not that I would want to claim some shit like eating the president. This is what Monica Lewinsky did. Now, what do you think Bill is saying? That's a notch on his belt. Not a thing of I took power of an intern. Yo, I had this young chick sucking my... That's what he's telling his boys or whatever. Yeah, this young chick, this intern, man. Yeah, sucking my... Now, President Clinton, at that time, or Bill Clinton, period, I would argue that he wouldn't have cared if it was a intern giving him a blowjob or if he could have got one of them White House maids to give him a blowjob. A blowjob is a blowjob, right? He didn't say, well, I'm going to necessarily use my power as the president. He would have did it when he was the governor. He would have did it when he was a law student. He would have did it when he was a freaking 18-year-old boy. I don't care who gives me a blowjob. I'll use whatever I can, whether it's my charm, whether it's just an opportunity. I don't care. I will get anybody to give me a blowjob. Look at how much Monica Lewinsky is worth now after coming in the light by giving the president a blowjob. It looked like it really was strategic. You can't just say that a person is using his power because he's in a powerful position. There's plenty of people who are able to get females to give them blowjobs. Females can get dudes to do whatever thing she wants, just based on them being a person who can influence people. Some of these females that ran into Harvey just talked shit to him and being exec. He probably promised them things, lying, just like the average male does that ain't got no money. He lies when he meets a female about all kind of shit he gonna do for her, wanna do for her and all of this. Until he does what? Boom, scores. Then once he scores, a lot of time, the situation changes. But the female has the choice to say, nah, man, I'm not letting this old nasty white motherfucker me. Not to be in no movie? No, I'm not going out like that. And you gotta make your mind up very early on, to me, in your life, what you gonna do and what you won't do for money and for power and to have a career. You got to make that up in your mind, because people are going to ask you to try to manipulate you. I mean, especially the better looking you are. Let's be real. The better looking you are, the sweeter of a body you have and what have you. You know, when a man sees you, shit, I'll hire her before that ugly mother, because I may be able to, have her do a little something with her. That's natural. The female has to be the one to stop that. The female that controls anything dealing with the sex. Outside of, like I said before, a physical rape, which I don't agree with. But a man talking you out of some ass, that's your choice you made. I don't care what influence he used, how charismatic, what power, you ultimately have the choice. So it makes no sense to then turn around and act like somebody else is a culprit. Ultimately, you may lose something by not sharing your body, but you should be willing to say, hey, that's something that I didn't want to sacrifice. Plain and simple, because these situations are going to always come up. You control the society. That's why they say the female's the mother of the earth. You're the mother of the earth. You decide what goes on in terms of life. The man has to come through you. So you can make the decision. And females with power and who are really powerful, they know that. Plenty of females who get by in life, they get what they want and don't give up any ass. Plenty. Because if you're willing to do something on your own marriage, you start kicking down doors. You realize that one of the doors you kick down is a male being aggressive for you when you don't want it. There's a thin line, because there's some males or male, I would say at least, that you're going to run into and say, hey, shit, he's kind of attractive. I want to start something with him. He could be my future husband even, right? So, and he could be the boss. There's plenty of bosses who marry their secretaries. I want to just reemphasize and reiterate, male is not in control of your body. If you allow him to be in control of your mind, that's on you. That is on you. Do not allow a male to do anything against your will. Do not allow it. And then turn around and say, oh, he raped me now that I think about it. Learn some assertive ways to say, hey, no, this is not happening. Just step away from the situation. He is a guy. He means no good to me. He didn't really hire me on the marriage. I thought he did. I thought she did. Because it works the same way. Remember, there's females now who hire. They want a male. They hire this guy because he's handsome. I want to look at him all day instead of this ugly mug over here. I'd rather look at this guy. Look, he's nice, cute, got a nice body. He's single. She might have hired him on the strength of the same thing that the male did. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. They had a hidden agenda, so to speak. But once it's brought to light, if you're not with it, just say, man, I'm stepping from this. Because this is not what I wanted. And to me, a private person has the right to do that in their private entity. In their private entity, they haven't done anything wrong. Some people hired you on the merits of your skills, but then they thought also, hey, he's got the same skills as this person, so they're even as far as that. But I'm gonna hire this guy or this girl because they're more attractive. So that may be better for the business, with them being more attractive for our customers, and also more attractive for me in trying to hit that. Of course, we don't want to admit that attractive people get more in life than ugly people. And that's just the way it is. And every one of us usually judges people like that, even though we should be dealing with from a more of a spirit base. But most people judge books by their cover. Pretty women do a lot better than ugly women. Yet when it comes to a man, the thing that we really do want, if you're honest, is the same on both of them. But a pretty woman will go much farther than an ugly woman. And I'm sure if a woman is honest, she will tell you that. If you're in the black community, a big booty woman will go a lot farther than a woman with a smaller ass. You get a big booty woman with some hips, and I'm not talking about a booty this shit. No, I'm talking about, as we would say, a nice ass. She's got the hips to go with it, and she's an attractive person. Oh man, and look at them titties. You know what I'm talking about. Those women are going to go so much farther in life in terms of attracting men than your ordinary looking woman or your ugly woman. In some cases for a man, it's a little bit different because a man can approach, usually the way our society was, he can approach women. And the more you approach, a lot will turn you down, but the more you have a chance of doing good, right? It's a different dynamic between an ugly male and an ugly female. The ugly male going after the female, he can be more aggressive than usually is, as opposed to an ugly female. She kind of sits and waits for someone to approach her. A lot of times people don't really think about that or want to admit it, but attractive people go much farther in life than ugly people. People who are fit and trim will go much farther than fat people. It's just what it is. People are not going to tell you that, but it's so natural for us, especially in America. You be a fat person and dress kind of sloppily and go for a job interview. And then have your competition be somebody who walks in and they're impeccably dressed. If all of y'all skills being equal, they're going to get the person who looks any kind of politics. It's been studied that the taller candidate usually always wins. It's been studied based on people's perceptions. It would be foolish to think, in general, that a man who normally, in general, thinks with his dick is not going to see an attractive female. And again, now he may be trying to cover his tracks. So you got an attractive female over here, got one that's, yeah, and they got the same skills. Do you not think that that male, and especially if he thinks that nobody's looking, do you not think he wants to hire the attractive female? Common sense. I'd rather look at her than look at the ugly one. Same thing with the female. Shit, I'd rather look at the nicer looking guy, as long as they're doing their job, we're gonna say, right? But now if they start, to where they're giving me a little bit of favors, I might even slack up on what I expect of them in their jobs. But that's a reality that happens. Everybody has seen it in their job. I mean, I've been on jobs and seen it both ways. Seen a male as the boss, and seen a female hired on, and be able to clearly look at it and say, oh man, damn boy, he sure seemed like he kind of, real hot on her. And before you know it, they go on out to lunch and you watching all it. Before you know it, you kind of pretty much know. And it might even be your boy who tell you, that's what it is. Let me just draw it back into Harvey, man. Harvey, you got your 23 years, and it is what it is. But I do feel like, as a part of this Me Too era, man, you got railroaded on this shit, and you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You did do some devilish shit to women, but they made the choice. I don't think that most women are going to say, because there have to be a whole lot of women who came through Harvey. I don't think that the average woman is just going to say that he just grabbed me and took some pussy. I just don't think they're going to say that. He did use his power, but to me, why would you have power in any society if you can't use it? Why would you have power if you can't use it? And you use it for different things. Sometimes he used his power to say, hey, you know what? I want to hire this person over there that nobody else would have hired. He may have did that for some minorities and didn't ask for nothing. Who knows? But you don't want no power if you can't use it. Who would? Right? So it's no sense of getting power and prestige if you can't use it. So one of the aspects of power is for a man to say, hey, I'm going to use it in a sexual way to get this man or to get this woman. Because again, it happens across the homo line too. It happens from the female to the male. It just happens because that's a part of life. So again, a private entity should be able to do that. The person who they aggress against should be able to say, I'm not down with that. They got you, Harvey. And man, in all likelihood, you a goner. Don't F out, man. Stay alive, but stay alert, because they will try to get that old ass too, Harvey. Huh? Anywho, anyway, this is OG Lee, and I'll see you